You've probably heard this before. Just think positive thoughts and everything will change, or good vibes only, or set boundaries and you'll be happy. But here's the truth. These are incomplete spiritual teachings, and they might actually be keeping you stuck. Today, I am breaking down the 3 biggest spiritual lies that are sabotaging your growth, your healing, and your real transformation. And more importantly, I'm showing you what actually works. I spent years in the spiritual community. I've read every manifestation book, done every healing modality, and I've made every mistake in the book. And what I realized is that most spiritual advice sounds good, but it's missing a crucial piece. In this video, we're going deep into what's actually holding you back, and I'm giving you the real framework for lasting change. We're covering 3 things. First, the manifestation lie. Why visualization alone isn't working, and what you actually need to do to align with what you want. Second, the healing lie. Why positive thinking is actually preventing you from transforming your pain. And third, the energy lie. Why protecting your energy isn't enough if you don't understand the deeper principle behind it. By the end of this video, you'll have a completely different understanding of how spiritual growth actually works. Let's dive in. Let's start with manifestation, because this is probably the most popular spiritual teaching right now, and it's also the most misunderstood. The lie is this: if you visualize what you want and think positive thoughts, the universe will give it to you. Sounds good, right? Except it doesn't work that way, and I'm going to explain why. Here's what happens. You wake up one day, and you decide you want to manifest abundance. So you create a vision board. You write down your goals. You visualize yourself living in a mansion, driving a luxury car, having financial freedom. You do this every single day. You're consistent. You're committed. You're thinking positive thoughts. You're feeling the feelings of already having it. But nothing changes. Why? Because you're only working with the conscious part of your mind. You're not addressing the beliefs that are actually running your life. Think about it this way. Your conscious mind is like the tip of an iceberg. It's maybe 5% of what's actually controlling your reality. The other 95%, that's your subconscious beliefs. And if your subconscious belief is, "I'm not worthy of wealth," or "rich people are greedy," or "money is the root of all evil," then no amount of visualization is going to override that. Your subconscious will sabotage every opportunity that comes your way. You'll get a business opportunity and talk yourself out of it. You'll get a raise and immediately spend the extra money on something you don't need. You'll attract someone who could help you financially, and you'll push them away. Your subconscious is protecting you from something that contradicts your core belief about yourself. So here's what actually works. You have to change your self-image first. Manifestation isn't about asking the universe for what you want. It's about becoming the version of yourself that already has it. It's about identity shift. If you want to manifest wealth, you don't just visualize money. You become someone who thinks like a wealthy person. You study how wealthy people think. You adopt their beliefs. You change how you see yourself in relation to money. You start believing, "I am someone who creates value. I am worthy of abundance. Money flows to me easily. I make smart financial decisions." When you change your self-image, your actions change. When your actions change, your results change. When your results change, your external reality shifts. This is the real law of attraction. It's not about the universe magically delivering things to you. It's about you becoming a vibrational match to what you want. And vibration isn't about positive thinking. It's about your core beliefs about yourself and the world. So here's what you do. First, identify what you want to manifest. Let's say it's financial abundance. Second, ask yourself, what would someone who already has financial abundance believe about themselves? How would they think about money? What would their daily habits be? Third, start embodying those beliefs and habits now, not when you have the money, but now. Because you're not manifesting the money, you're manifesting the identity. The money is just a byproduct. This is why some people manifest things effortlessly and others never do. It's not luck, it's identity alignment. Now let's talk about healing. And this is where a lot of spiritual people get really defensive, because they've built their entire practice around this lie. The lie is, if you just stay positive and focus on good vibes, you'll heal. Or the spiritual version, everything happens for a reason, so don't dwell on the negative. This is called spiritual bypassing, and it's one of the most damaging things in the spiritual community. Spiritual bypassing is when you use spiritual beliefs and practices to avoid feeling your pain. It's when you use positivity as a shield against reality. Here's what it looks like in practice. Someone goes through a breakup, they're heartbroken. But instead of feeling the grief, they immediately jump into everything happens for a reason. Or this is the universe clearing space for something better. Or I'm just going to manifest my soulmate. But here's what's actually happening. They're not healing. They're just covering up the wound with spiritual language. Or someone experiences trauma. Instead of processing it, they say, I'm choosing to focus on the light, or holding on to anger only hurts me. Or I'm going to send them love and forgiveness. Again, they're not healing. They're spiritually bypassing. They're using spirituality as a way to avoid the real work of transformation. And here's the thing. This approach never actually works. The pain doesn't go away. It just goes underground. It gets stored in your body. It shows up as anxiety, depression, chronic illness, or self-sabotage. You can't heal what you won't acknowledge. Real healing requires you to feel your feelings, all of them, not just the positive ones. If you're grieving, you need to grieve, not for a day or a week, but for as long as it takes. Grief is love with nowhere to go. It's sacred. It's necessary. If you're angry, you need to feel that anger. Anger is information. It's telling you that a boundary was crossed, that something matters to you, that you have needs that aren't being met. Suppressing anger doesn't make you spiritual. It makes you disconnected from your own power. If you're scared, you need to acknowledge that fear. Fear is wisdom. It's your nervous system trying to protect you. Real transformation happens when you sit with these uncomfortable emotions, when you stop trying to fix them or transcend them, when you just let them be there. This is where real spiritual work begins, not in denying your humanity, but in embracing it, in integrating all parts of yourself, the light and the dark, the joy and the pain, the strength and the vulnerability. When you do this, something shifts. The emotions don't own you anymore. You own them. You integrate them. You become whole. Here's the actual healing process. Step 1. Acknowledge the pain. Say it out loud if you need to. I'm grieving. I'm angry. I'm scared. This hurts. Step 2. Feel it without judgment. Don't try to fix it or transcend it. Just let it move through your body. Cry if you need to. Scream if you need to. Write it out. Move your body. Do whatever helps you process it. Step 3. Get curious about it. Ask yourself, what is this emotion telling me? What boundary was crossed? What do I need? What do I value? What am I afraid of losing? Step 4. Integrate it. This is where you take the wisdom from the emotion and incorporate it into how you live. Maybe you need to set a boundary. Maybe you need to grieve what you've lost. Maybe you need to ask for help. Whatever it is, you take action based on what you learned. This is real healing, not positive thinking, not spiritual bypassing, integration. And when you do this work, something magical happens. You become more whole, more authentic, more powerful. Because you're no longer fragmented. You're not pushing away parts of yourself. You're bringing them all into the light. I'll give you a real example from my own life. I went through a betrayal years ago, and my first instinct was to spiritually bypass it, to say everything happens for a reason, and I'm just going to send them love and forgiveness. But that didn't work. I was still angry. I was still hurt. So I finally let myself feel it. I cried. I got angry. I wrote angry letters I never sent. I sat with the pain. And through that process I realized something. I had ignored red flags because I didn't trust my own intuition. That was the real lesson. Not about forgiving them, but about trusting myself. Once I integrated that, everything changed. I started listening to my gut. I stopped ignoring warning signs, and I attracted healthier relationships. That's real healing. The third lie is about energy and boundaries, and this one is especially popular right now because it sounds empowering. The lie is, protect your energy and set boundaries, and everything will be fine. But here's the problem. Boundaries without understanding are just walls, and walls keep things out, but they also keep you in. Everyone's talking about protecting their energy. Don't let toxic people drain you. Set boundaries. Cut people off if they're negative. And yes, boundaries are important, but this teaching is incomplete because it focuses on what you're protecting yourself from, not what you're protecting yourself for. It's like building a fortress to keep enemies out, but if there's nothing valuable inside the fortress, what are you protecting? Here's what actually happens when you only focus on protecting your energy. You become hyper-vigilant. You're constantly scanning for threats. You're analyzing every interaction. Is this person draining me? Are they toxic? Should I cut them off? It becomes exhausting. You also become isolated because you're so focused on who's draining you. You push away good people too. You become rigid. You become defensive. You become lonely. And underneath it all, there's often fear. Fear of being hurt. Fear of being taken advantage of. Fear of losing yourself. But protecting yourself from fear never actually works. You just end up more afraid. Here's what I've learned. Energy isn't something you protect. Energy is something you cultivate. Instead of asking who's draining me, ask what fills me up. Instead of asking who should I cut off, ask who do I want to spend time with. Instead of focusing on what you're protecting yourself from, focus on what you're protecting yourself for. What matters to you? What brings you joy? What makes you feel alive? What do you want to create in your life? When you're focused on what you want to create, boundaries become natural. You don't need to be rigid about them. You don't need to explain them. You just naturally spend time with people and activities that align with your values, and you naturally move away from things that don't. This is where real power comes from. Not from protection, but from clarity about what you actually want. And here's the thing, when you're in that place, when you know what you want and you're moving toward it, toxic people actually self-select out. They leave on their own, because you're not a match for them anymore. Your energy is different. You're not pushing them away. You're just not available for that dynamic anymore. This is the real law of boundaries. It's not about walls. It's about alignment. It's about knowing yourself so well that you naturally attract what matches you and repel what doesn't. So here's how to actually work with your energy. First, get clear on your values. What matters to you? What do you want your life to be about? Write it down. Be specific. Second, audit your relationships and commitments. Which ones align with your values? Which ones don't? Be honest. Third, start making small changes. Spend more time with people who align with your values. Spend less time with people who don't. It doesn't have to be dramatic, just gradual. Fourth, notice how you feel. When you're around certain people, do you feel energized or drained? When you're doing certain activities, do you feel alive or numb? Your body knows. Trust it. Fifth, set boundaries from a place of clarity, not fear. Instead of, I can't be around this person because they're toxic, it's I'm choosing to spend my time on things that matter to me. It's a completely different energy. And here's the beautiful part. When you do this, you don't feel guilty about your boundaries. You don't have to justify them, because you're not protecting yourself from something. You're moving towards something. You're building a life that actually matters to you. So let's zoom out. What's the common thread in all three of these lies? They all focus on the external. Manifestation focuses on getting external things. Healing focuses on avoiding external pain. Boundaries focus on keeping external threats away. But real spiritual transformation isn't about managing your external reality. It's about transforming your internal reality. When you change your beliefs, your external reality shifts. When you integrate your pain, your relationships shift. When you get clear on what matters to you, the people and circumstances in your life shift. It's all inside out, not outside in. This is why some people can have everything: money, good relationships, healthy boundaries, but still feel empty, because they're working with the wrong framework. And this is why some people can have very little externally, but feel incredibly fulfilled, because they're working from the inside out. Real spiritual work is about becoming, not getting, not protecting, but becoming the fullest, most authentic version of yourself. And when you do that work, everything else follows. So here's what I want you to take away from this. Stop trying to manifest things. Start becoming the person who naturally attracts those things. Stop trying to stay positive. Start feeling your feelings and integrating your whole self. Stop trying to protect your energy. Start cultivating the life you actually want. The spiritual journey isn't about getting more. It's about becoming more whole, more authentic, more alive. And that's the real transformation. That's what actually changes your life. I'd love to hear from you. Which of these lies resonated most with you? Which one have you been believing? Drop a comment below and let me know. I read every single comment, and I love connecting with you all. And if this video helped you see something differently, please share it with someone who needs to hear it. You never know whose life you might shift by sharing this perspective. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. And remember, you're not trying to get anywhere. You're becoming who you already are. That's the whole journey. Take care of yourself, and I'll see you soon.